Hey everyone. So today, we're going to dig into some pretty timeless Zen stories and see how they can actually help us escape the mental traps we all fall into in our modern chaotic lives. It's all about finding a little bit of clarity in all the noise. I mean, have you ever had that feeling like you're just swimming upstream, fighting against the current all day long? It is absolutely exhausting. And it turns out that exact feeling, well, that's one of the biggest mental traps we get stuck in. All right, so let's get right into it. Trap number one, fighting what is. This is basically our built-in tendency to resist what's already happening. I mean, it could be something small like getting angry that it's raining or something huge. But that resistance, that's where so much of our suffering really starts. So there's this great story about a guy at a silent retreat. He sees this monk who just seems so incredibly peaceful, and he has to ask him, how do you do it? And the monk's answer is just so simple. He says, I say yes. Whatever happens, I just say yes to it. And what's really powerful about this is that it's not just some old parable. The man in the story was a real person, Kamal Ravikant, and that's his quote. And the lesson here, it's not about being passive or just giving up. No way. It's about surrendering to the flow of life. Because real power, that comes from accepting, okay, this is what's happening, and then deciding what to do about it. Okay, so accepting the present moment is one thing, but what about the past? What about stuff that's already happened? Because let's be honest, we fight against the past all the time by just carrying it around with us, right? We replay these events over and over and over in our heads. And that brings us to this other amazing story about two monks. So they come to a river, and a senior monk helps a woman cross by carrying her, which is a big no-no. It breaks their vows. So for hours afterwards, the junior monk is just fuming. He's stewing in silence. And finally, he just can't take it anymore, and he blurts out this accusation. And boom, the senior monk hits him with this incredible line. See, he dealt with the situation right there at the river, and then he moved on. He was done with it. But the junior monk, he was still carrying the weight of that moment hours later. And that's the lesson, right? What's done is done. All that regret is just you dragging the past right into your present moment. All right, let's talk about our next trap. This one's a little more subtle. It's that fear, that anxiety we get about losing the people and the things we love. And that anxiety can get so powerful, it literally stops us from enjoying what we have. Right here, right now. Okay, picture this. A Zen master gets this absolutely beautiful, one-of-a-kind crystal cup as a gift, and he loves it. He doesn't just put it on a shelf. He uses it every single day, shows it to visitors. He genuinely appreciates this thing. But here's the twist. Here's the key. Every single morning, he holds that cup and he tells himself, this glass is already broken. He's practicing accepting that nothing lasts forever. So, you can guess what happens. One day, a visitor accidentally knocks it over and it shatters. And the master? He's totally calm. He just grabs a broom, sweeps it up, and moves on. And this just illustrates the lesson so perfectly, doesn't it? Real, lasting happiness, it's not just about getting all the stuff you want. It's really two halves. One half is being okay with what you don't get. And the other half, it's being okay with losing what you already have. Because, well, everything is temporary. Okay, on to trap number 3. This one is living completely inside our own heads. You know what I mean? We get so tangled up in analyzing and strategizing and just worrying that we completely forget to actually live. So a young monk goes up to a master, right? He's looking for some deep, profound wisdom. He says, please teach me. But the master's response is so normal, so mundane. He just asks him, have you eaten your rice porridge? The monk says yes, and the master just says, then you had better wash your bowl. And right there, in that simple instruction, the young monk gets it. He's enlightened. The lesson here is so incredibly profound because it's so simple. Stop getting lost in these big, complex thoughts about the meaning of everything. Just do the next thing. Just wash your bowl. See, true mindfulness isn't found in thinking about things. It's found in the simple, present act of doing them. And this leads to another great little story that's kind of funny. It really captures how useless so much of our chatter is. So 4 monks, they take a vow of silence. But then the candle goes out. The first monk goes, oh no, the candle's out. The second one says, hey, we're not supposed to talk. The third one chimes in, Why did you two have to break the silence? And then the fourth one, so proud of himself, says, I'm the only one who didn't speak. It's just perfect, right? They all broke their vow for something completely pointless. All right, let's get to our final trap. And honestly, this one is a biggie. The idea is this. The world isn't just something that happens to us. To a huge extent, the world we experience is actually just a reflection of what's already going on inside of us. And this next story makes that point so clearly. Two different men are thinking of moving to a new town, and they both ask a Zen master what it's like. The master asks the first man, "What was your old town like?" The man says, "Oh, it was awful. Everyone was so hateful." And the master replies, "Well, this town is very much the same." Then the second man comes along. The master asks him the same question, and this man says, "My old town was wonderful. Everyone was so friendly." And the master says, "You know what? This town is very much the same." The takeaway is just crystal clear. You find what you're looking for. So the big question is, how do we change what we're looking for? How can we start to see the world differently? Well, this last story gives us a clue, and it uses the metaphor of a simple teacup.
You've got this scholar who visits a Zen teacher, and he just won't shut up. He's constantly interrupting, showing off how much he already knows. So the teacher starts pouring him some tea, and he just keeps pouring, letting it overflow all over the table. The message couldn't be clearer, right? Like this cup, he says, you are full of your own opinions. If you don't first empty your cup, how can you taste my tea? If your mind is already full, there's just no room for anything new. You have to be willing to empty your cup first.
And that really brings us to the end. We've talked about all these mental traps, these ancient stories, but, just knowing about them is one thing. The real question is, what are you going to do now? Are you going to spend the rest of your day overthinking all this? Or are you just going to go wash your ball?